Hi everyone, I'm Brad Jennings. I tell inappropriate stories. For my money, the best comedic storyteller is Mike Birbiglia, the slightly disheveled stand-up comic you might recognize from late night talk shows or This American Life. So when I heard he was doing a show in Wilmington, Delaware a few years ago, I made sure I was logged onto the ticket site like 15 minutes early, frantically hitting refresh like an idiot. As soon as the tickets went on sale, I was so rattled to actually be choosing my seats in the second row of the theater that I didn't realize I had the seat map orientation backwards, and I had actually rushed in to be the first to buy tickets in the second to last row of the theater. No matter. With my parents coming to town to watch our two toddler daughters, my wife and I were booked for Birbiglia. But 2 days before the show, my mom broke her arm, which makes caring for toddlers a challenge, changing diapers, picking them up. But Mom agreed to persevere. Thanks, Mom. But on the morning of the show, I passed out while taking a dump and wound up in the hospital. That story on its own was a York Story Slam winner last year. You should find it on YouTube and check it out. It's gross. But I was somehow released from the hospital by mid-afternoon, and we raced off to Wilmington. But on the drive there, we were involved in a pretty nasty car crash. We skidded safely off the road into the grass median as car after car slammed into each other on the highway. That's us in the Sunny D car over there. But we were witnesses and first responders. It was scary. By the time we got to Wilmington, I felt lucky just to be alive. And I tweeted as much before we took our seats at the back of the theater. Birbiglia took the stage and immediately pulled his phone from his pocket, and he said, "Hey everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to read you this tweet that I saw." It said, "Babysitter broke arm. I spent AM in hospital after collapsing. Just now involved in car crash. But damn it, I'm going to Birbig's tonight. Is Brad Jennings here? Did he make it?" And from the way back, I was like, "Yeah, I'm here." He says, "Wow, well, we're glad to see you, but man, sometimes you just have to let the day win." With that, he invited us to come down and sit in the front row, right at his feet, where he grilled me about my fainting spell. I said, "It was an extreme bathroom situation." He said, "What's that mean?" I said, "You don't want to know." He said, "That sounds like exactly the kind of thing I'd want to know." Birbiglia knows a few things about telling tales of your worst moments. He made a movie based on the time he sleepwalked through a second floor window of his hotel room and had to come back into the lobby bare and bloody. He also toured successfully with the long-form story of the time he was so desperate to date this free-spirited woman that he endured spending time with his girlfriend's boyfriend. Like Birbiglia, I often let life happen to me in a way that guarantees I will never be a polished superhero. Superheroes don't get mugged in the Barbie aisle at Toys R Us, but I did. Superheroes named Brad don't let their college Spanish partner call them Brian for an entire semester just to avoid having to correct him, but I did. And that doesn't mean I don't have triumphs. I mean, I don't win gold medals, but maybe like silver linings. I like to find the lessons in my letdowns or the shimmering light in my shifty life. And I love sharing those with friends and family. So for me, these are some things I like to think about when I'm crafting good stories from bad experiences. Relax. Life is stressful and there's too many people to impress, so who cares? Just relax, be yourself, and most importantly, laugh at yourself. Too many people are too concerned with appearances and the guise of being perfect. I found that losers are lovable too. I think that's because we can all relate to the hard luck case, even in those unrelatable moments when I've given myself a concussion with a ruler and I'm off to the hospital again. Yes, that happened, and it happened because I was stressed out. So again, relax. Be vulnerable. It's not macho to tell a room full of strangers that you once passed out while taking a crap. But if I allow myself to be vulnerable and lay out my gaffes and flaws and let my audience chuckle with me, I take back the power from those moments. I build confidence by owning my embarrassment. Bring the drama. I could tell you that my wife found me passed out on the toilet. Or I could use my entire body to show you how I was drenched in sweat and naked, and messy, and convulsing, and how I fell out the bathroom door when she opened it. It was ridiculous and true, so I try to sell the best parts. Learn something. My worst moments can be worthwhile if there's a lesson woven in. I'm better for the experience, and my audience is too. That's the victory. So, if my genitals fall out of my shorts during a high school track meet, I owe it to you to share with you the lesson of wearing appropriate underwear. That's right, a few months ago, I stood on stage at the Capitol Theater and told an audience about how I flashed a grandstand of spectators during the 100-meter dash, thanks to some good-for-nothing track shorts. I was just a high school kid, and the crowd was laughing loudly at my, it was hard. The situation, But I also knew it was funny and memorable, and that people could react to it, even if they couldn't relate to it. So at the York Story Slam finale, relaxed and vulnerable, I shamelessly and dramatically told of the day my little guy publicly flapped in the breeze. I owned it, and this time the crowd laughed with me. This time, I was the winner. And I was a winner at that Birbiglia show as well, because after a day of medical emergencies and improbably escaping crash injuries, only to have a comedian riff on my intestinal misfortune in front of 1,000 people, I couldn't help but ultimately feel like I had won. A day that started in the hospital ended with my favorite hard luck comedian signing my hospital ban and sparking my own interest in long-form, self-deprecating storytelling. Thank you.